Hi, everyone, and welcome to another A&B Horror Movies video. I'm Aaron,
I'm Ben.
and today we're very happy to be joined by John McPhail. John, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. We
Pleasure.
can't wait to chat with you about Anna and the Apocalypse, the movie you directed, gosh, I think 2017, so 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
I would describe it as a horror, zombie, musical, comedy, and a Christmas movie. And it's a perfect time of year to watch it. I've already watched it twice this year. Let's see. You've also you directed Where Do We Go From Here after a successful crowdfunding campaign. You've also directed a new movie called Dear David, which we'll ask you a few questions about as well. And you founded Worrying Drake Productions in 2013. Let's see. What did I miss?
I don't know, like I feel like I'm still quite young in my directorial career. Like I started out in the camera department as like a camera assistant, and that's kind of like where I began. And I thought I wanted to be a director of photography, but no, I like
But here you are.
just making a bunch of short films, a low budget feature, and another low budget feature, and it's so low budget, you know.
Let's see. Well, Ben, do you want to ask the first question?
Yeah. So we'll start with how did it all come about? Musical, zombies, and everything.
And Christmas.
So it was the brainchild of Ryan McHenry. Ryan wrote and directed this little short called Zombie Musical, which was like his end of year like college project. Ryan is famous on the internet for making those Ryan Gosling won't eat his cereal vines.
Yes.
It was like the spoon, and he kept on moving away. Yeah, no. So Ryan had asked like one of his good friends, Nathan, to help him make this short. And they did, and I think they won a New Talent BAFTA for it here, and decided they were going to make a feature version of this. And that's where Alan McDonald came on, the co-writer. Nathan got him and Ryan working together on the script, which initially didn't start out as a Christmas movie. It was going to be like a summer movie, like a graduation film. But it was Ryan who came to Alan. He was like, no, it should be a Christmas movie. It's going to be a Christmas movie. And it just kind of, they went from there and started developing this. And yeah, that's how it started.
Yes.
But it came from Ryan thinking, oh, like how cool would it be if Ryan Gosling, sorry, not Ryan Gosling, that he was watching High School Musical and he was like, oh, it'd be brilliant if Zac Efron got like ate by zombies right now, and that like, oh, like that this could be a thing. So it started out disdain of musicals.
Yes. Well, I've got to say, I love the movie End of the Apocalypse. I saw it when it first came out in the theater. And now I watch it every year, usually on Thanksgiving in the American holiday. But I've actually already watched it twice this year. So congrats on that. It's a great film. And when we reached out to some of our viewers, they all were very excited about it as well.
But I've also got to add that I am not a fan of musicals. Aaron kept trying to feed me this movie, so I've watched it, and I will say to anybody that isn't too keen on musicals, definitely give this a go, because it's still worth the watch.
Yes.
With the music, it's not overbearing with music. I just want to say in a simple way.
And there's a lot of gore. I will add to that. John, we do have a question.
Yeah.
We're just sort of rambling on here at the moment. So if you're a horror fan, there's a lot of gore and some good music and some comedy. There's a snowman decapitation scene, which is one of my favorite moments in the movie. And I do have a question about that, but I'll come back to it. My question is, so it's a fun movie. Ben and I both really like it. When you're watching it, the cast seems to have a lot of fun making it as well. So my question is that just good acting, or was it a fun movie to make?
Oh man, this was so much fun to make. Like from like top to bottom, like everybody that worked on this like had a ball, and we all had a blast making it. My kids, like they were incredible. They were just wonderful human beings as well. And like we filmed in an old school, and literally putting like a school uniform on them inside this building, it just transformed them into absolute children. Like, and in the nicest way, they were playing pranks on each other for warm-ups. They would go into the gym hall and throw down like mats and put on AC/DC and like jump shoot each other with like Nerf guns. Like, it was ridiculous stuff. But that was like they really fed into it. And what I think makes Anne and the Apocalypse work is because it's them being like, we always said, like, because it's all these mad things all competing for each other, the heart of it has to be about the teenagers. Like, it has to be about them. And like, if they don't work, this film won't work. Like, and you wanted to have that sort of like character and like earnestness in them, like, because being a teenager, there's it's so flawed, it sucks, it's tough. And as long as they sort of like can sort of show that, like, the way I like to look at it is like, it's at the end of the world, like, and teenagers wake up every day and it's the end of the world. So like, what actually happens with teenagers at the end of the world? It's because it's just Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? So the problems still exist.
Yes. Oh, that's a great answer.
I've got to say, there's two actors in these that are like in this that is like absolute classics that I've seen my whole life growing up, and that is Paul Kaye and Mark Benton. And I've got to ask, what they like to work with, because they're quite sort of quirky characters, aren't they? Anyway, they're really like, I've seen interviews with them and they're quite fun. So they must have been really good fun to make this.
Oh no, like I like completely, like, as I said, like we're class, like, and so good. I've known Mark. I've known Mark for years, like, because I was a camera assistant. I used to drop marks for him. Do you know what I mean? Like, put a clapper board in front of his face, and like, about 5 years later, I'm directing him on the other side. So like, that was really, really cool. And Paul was brilliant. Like I really wanted Savage to be like at the very end of it being like Willy Wonka meets the Joker, like, just off his head, like, and he was this big gangly thing, like, it was class.
Yeah,
that was all Paul.
Yeah,
amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You go, Aaron, or
No, go ahead. If you wanted to say something else, go ahead.
I'll ask before I forget. I know Ella Hunt is a singer, and she's got some songs released. Did everybody who sang in the film, was that their own voice, or?
Yep. No, 100%. Again,
okay.
with musicals, like, it has to come from, like, there's an authenticity in it. So when we were casting all the kids, like, we wanted to hear like all their voices, and we wanted different voices in there, like, so that you could pick them out and in song, like, and really, really, as I say, sort of, it's the connectivity, again, going back to that. If the audience doesn't feel connected to the characters in it, but it's clearly not them singing, do you know what I mean? Like, it's walking about with a Scottish accent, and they're like, oh,
That wouldn't work.
So, like, again, always about trying to, like, because again, this is for a sort of like niche audience. Like, I'm wanting to hook in. Like, you mentioned the gore. Like I know I'm a horror fan myself. I love horror, and I love practical in-camera gore. And as an audience, I'll go like, oh man, yeah, like, that's cool. And it's like just trying to do that, hook that audience in, and keep them going on that mad ride.
Yes. Speaking of gore, I love the bowling ball scene where he crushes the guy's head.
Awesome.
Perfect. Let's see. The scene or sequence with Turning My Life Around is probably the biggest musical number in the film, and there's a lot happening there. So behind Ella Hunt's character, who plays Anna, there's basically zombie mayhem going on, and she doesn't realize it's happening. I guess my question is, how hard was it filming that and making all those pieces come together, as well as having it be a musical piece at the same time?
Like, I think that I think it actually took us I think it took us longer to shoot like Hollywood Ending, because of all, like, everything else.
I was going to ask about that one too.
The other one with and the other one that was longer was Give Them a Show, because it's like all like the stabbing, like Turning My Life was because I had to have that like blocked down to a T, because I've got like things crashing into each other. Like, there wasn't as much way for like Like it was like planned down to like a T. Even the street we used, like we didn't know the people that lived on there, and we wrote letters to them all to ask if they could put their Christmas decorations up on these dates, and like they did, and it was just that was so it was like it was great fun to shoot. Like it was really not as stressful as like some of the other ones were.
Okay, cool. Well, as a follow-up to that, did Ella Hunt ever sort of come out of a character, being realizing what was happening behind her, and sort of laugh, like I don't know, like sort of lose it at all with
Well, like
moment?
not like Ella. If you have like Ella only ever corpsed a couple of times.
Okay.
She there's a time she was supposed to whip the candy cane just through a frame, and she ended up hitting the camera, and like the mat box and everything fell off the front of it. It was all in slow mo. We shot it all at like a high frame rate to shoot it in slow motion, so like you can actually see like the moment it hits in her face, just going. That was class.
Nice.
I've got to ask, you were saying you got everybody to put their decorations up. What time of year did you film?
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
February, March.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because probably maybe it was the end of January, beginning of February. I'm sure. We shot for 28 days.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Well, speaking of the cafeteria, seeing the Hollywood ending, the choreography is pretty intense in that moment, and I understand that. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Sarah Swire, who played Steph, actually helped out with a lot of the choreography. Can you speak to a little bit about what that was like? So the choreography, the music, getting everyone coordinated, and filming that cafeteria scene.
She was the full-on choreographer. I loved her for Steph, but we also knew that she was like this incredible dancer. And I was worried that she would be spreading herself too thin, but she came in and she just like knocked it out of the park. She's an incredible mover. She always always trying to think about, like it's like coming from the character themselves, and so it's always a collaboration, because you're worried about like someone who's like a co-star is now then directing them and telling them what to do, and and her being in and out of that. But nah, she absolutely knocked out the park, and was as I said, like you'd walk into rooms and she's in dancing with her iPad. Do you know what I mean? And it's just cutting stuff together. Yeah, like to then explain out to everybody. It was brilliant. Yeah.
Was that one of the longest scenes to film? The Hollywood ending cafeteria scene?
I think it was 2 days to shoot the
2 days, okay.
And then we had to pick up Savage's section. So it was like, but yeah, 2 days I think it took us to do that. But again, what was great as well was the dancers. Like we brought them in from like a musical school, and they literally were so much fun. Like they came in, they got it, and just went for it. And we tried to put as many like little film references and things like that in there as well. It's great fun.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Obviously the songs are a big part of this film. Were they all written by the same person or people, or because they've all got their own sort of sound? Aaron obviously knows the songs by name because he's watched it. So, but there's one where Nick's singing and he's kind of saying like I'm a soldier boy, and that kind of to me had like a Eye of the Tiger sound. And another one was sort of like you said, a sort of musical, High School Musical sound, and then there was a bit. So I'm just wondering if they were written by the same person.
Aye, so they were written by Roddy Hart and Tommy Riley. So the two of them are like just musicians, like touring artists. But they came on board to write and do all the music, and and compose the score as well. And they were, again, so that's all of them, that's all their work. Obviously, like we're around there for them to bounce ideas off of, and the cast come in and like, but that's them. They're like and there's so many like all in sort of reference to things, Turning My Life Around is kind of like Hall & Oates, like making my dreams come true.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hollywood Ending was that like pop song that but Summer Lovin', oh, oh, you know,
Yeah, completely.
I'm summer loving, happy, Savage's song was quite sparksy, like this town ain't big enough for the both of us, like there was that kind of like, like sort of referencing and sort of points of stuff. And we'd spent when we were in prep and the script was still getting sort of finished off and the cast was still getting done, we were always like talking just about music and songs and references and it was again a lot of fun to work on.
Cool. Yeah. So I've never been on set when a musical is being filmed. And then obviously you add the music in afterward, right? Because when you watch it, the music is loud and front and center. So what is it like when you're filming it when you don't have the music added in yet? Or do you do the music first and then film the scene?
So we've recorded them all prior. We wrote them, Tommy and Roddy wrote them all. Obviously hadn't got them like mastered and mixed and everything else like that. It was just getting them down, getting the cast in as early as possible so we could get their voices on there. And then obviously, and so that they were singing to, like it's them. Do you know what I mean? It was because the first sort of demos is just Roddy and Tommy singing them. Like Tommy would sing the girl parts and Roddy would sing the guy parts. Like it was really ridiculous. But once obviously we before we were shooting, we got their voices on there so that again it was them. There was an authenticity to it. So when they're in the scene, they're not coming back out of it for anything else. Mm-hmm. Or getting distracted by other things like that. So so we recorded them all there. The only thing that one that I think the only one we hadn't pre-recorded was what the Penguins danced to, and it was we were in post, and they had a room next door to me, and it just sort of dawned on me, and I was like, oh, and I went in, dude, and I was like it's got to be a fish wrap. Like he's like, what? Like I don't know, like I like big fish and I cannot lie. Something like that. Roddy was sitting at his computer, oh, okay, all right, okay. And then I left and started working on it. And it was the next day, Tommy came in and Roddy burst in and he's like, I've got it. And he starts doing the fish wrap. And Tommy was so confused because obviously he hadn't been part of that conversation. But yeah, so I was the only one that they'd sort of wrote.
Great. That's great. And I love the inappropriate Christmas song moment as well. And the principal gets so mad. And the funniest part are the people in the audience, the looks on their faces when they realize what she's actually singing about. Perfect. I don't know, Ben, is it your turn or my turn? I forget.
I'm not sure. I can go. We can go.
Well, can you talk a little bit about the different editions? So I know before we started recording, Ben brought up the fact that there's a UK cut, and I think you mentioned there's an Australian cut, and I have the US cut here.
Yeah, so when we done the film, or when we got into Fantastic Fest, which is like just the most incredible thing ever, in September 2017, and we'd finished shooting in March of 2017, so it was quite a quick turnaround with the edit, and obviously we got it out. We got it got picked up for distribution on and Orion wanted us to cut down the film. They wanted to have a wee couple they had some notes that they wanted to implement, which we were totally up for. And while we were doing that, we kind of were like, well, we were kind of. There's a couple of things that we'd seen that we were like, oh, do you know, we're a week out, we're 2 weeks away from the edit. This is what I think, we could actually do this and do that. And we saw it as an opportunity to sort of do a sort of like rest of the world cut that we could out for sort of distribution. And there's a sort of, so there ended up 3 different versions of them. And when it went to like theatrical release, released in at the same time it was releasing in the UK, the US, and like Australia. There was a few other territories as well, like Spain and things. But the reason that I mentioned Australia is because it took them it takes so long for a film to get rated that the new version of the film, they couldn't rate it in time for the theatrical release, so they had to use the festival cut of the film. So it's screened at like all these different places around the world, kind of at the same time, while 3 different simultaneous versions of them are playing. It was just mad.
Is are there major differences? So does the UK one have a different ending, or is it basically the
No,
same?
no, no. It's more like I saw like the original ending's a bit bleaker. There's there's another song on there. I don't think that made it. It was like "Which Side Are You On," which is with the adults. Like it's Tony and
Okay.
Savage, the song.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just little things as well. Like just little pacing things. It's not much. And there's the end version of it, like in the American version, like it goes full Hollywood ending at the end in the car, and it's very like and in the sort of UK version, it's in a halftime, and it's more scory rather than the full reprisal of the song.
Okay.
Just
Got
a
it.
bit lighter touches.
Well, I'm hoping to get to watch the UK version. Ben got a copy. He's gonna send it to me, and I have a region-free player, so I can watch it. We do have viewer questions, but before I get to that, I mentioned the decapitated snowman scene, and it's probably one of my favorite moments in the film. So the snowman gets decapitated. My question is, how many times did you have to film Malcolm Cumming doing that scream? Because it's amazing. It's so funny.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good because like Ella corpsed a couple of times as well during that, because I was, from the moment I got the script, I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. You know, like how I'm going to cut that. But like straight away, I was like, fishing hook on the head. The fishing hook, the fishing pole comes up under with the fishing wire, takes the head off, and inside there's a blood cannon, and we set that off, and like we did it. It was great fun.
It's perfect.
I love that one.
Gets me every time.
Yeah, he's my favorite zombie of the whole film. Like him and Santa Claus are always sort of like vying for like my favorite one, but yeah, there's just something about the snowman.
Oh, and she says, "I'm a first aider. I can help."
And now first aid.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Let's see. Well, we do have viewer questions, but Ben, do you have any other questions before we jump into those?
I was going to ask. There's a lot of characters in this that die that I wasn't expecting to. Was it, as you were filming, did you sort of nearly sway to not killing certain characters off, like I can't now, such and such, or was they always picked and that's how the script was going to go?
So when I first came, I was when when I pitched for the film, like there was 2 versions of the script. There was one where John survived and Tony died, one where Tony survived and John died, and I was kind of in the same camp of like kill them both. For what it is that we kind of need, like, so for where Malcolm or John dies, like sort of like spoiler, at like the end, the right at the end of the second act, into the third act, but I needed her to sort of like call her Golden Hulk, like I needed to get her to that place. Something had to happen, something that sort of let go, and it's all about her letting go, and it's all about loss as well, and that's part of it. Like, supposed to be, you know, about understanding about death as well, and being a teenager, like that's kind of like when your grandparents start passing away, like people who actually, you know, like death comes into your life, and it's like Santa Claus not being real. Like once you've opened that door, that's it, you know. Like, and for kids of that age, it's just something. As I said, that they're not ready for, and you know, so you had to kill his best friend, and she had to go as well and do it on her own. Do you know what I mean? Like, totally had to go.
Yeah, for sure. So not only is it a comedy, it's also a drama. There's some heavy dramatic elements in there too.
Yeah.
Well, like the whole, like the film, I wanted it to be like the first act to be that zany teen comedy, so that the second act could be like about a horror comedy, and the third act be an out and out like horror drama. Do you know what I mean? Like that's it was the building blocks to get us there as well.
And it works, I would say.
Yeah.
Excellent. So why don't we jump to viewer questions? Ben, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I can go first.
Okay.
This is Chris from the Dark Lodge. Where did the idea for this movie come from? Sort of talked about that, but you can.
Well, as I said, it came from Ryan and Alan. I'd said to you as well about so Ryan passed away. He died of a rare kind of bone cancer called osteosarcoma. And Nathan, obviously being his best friend, you know, asked him, you know, if he what do you want to do about the film, and he wanted the film to be made, and obviously there's the film's dedicated to him. And as I said, it was about young people learning about death, and that's kind of like the way that, you know, this film's sort of ethos of it is like, you know, young people, you know, losing someone really, really close to them. Obviously the script got darker as well because Alan had lost his best friend and like his co-writer, and the whole film took a bit of a darker turn, and that, as well as I say, so a lot of the darkness kind of comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sad. Very sad.
It's very sad. Yeah.
Well, let's see. This is from Brian from Super Manga Boy. He said, how closely were you involved with the screenwriting and the story development process? Which I guess we talked to a little bit as well, but if there's anything else you want to add to that.
No, like I remember when I first arrived, Alan handed me like a copy of the script and goes, "Here you go, this is yours now." And I was like, "No, dude, that's not how this works. You're coming with me."
Yes.
He was on set for quite a lot of it, and was there for like zingers and lines and little bits here and there. So yeah, no.
Cool.
Awesome. I think we may have talked about the next one too, but go for it.
Great Power 62. What inspired the songs in the movie? We kind of asked it.
Well, thank you, Great Power 62.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to add, we can just go on to the next.
So like again, like there was so many like silly references. I can't remember like, you know, some of them were, but yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Next up, this is from Billy Joseph Jr. at Billy_Joseph_ Jr. As a fan of almost every film and music genre, I love to see all of this converge in Anna and the Apocalypse. Do you have a preference of genre, or are you a cornucopia of interests like myself?
I'm not like I don't really like doing like anything that's like a straight horror or anything like that. It has to all have a bunch of things all playing in and around it. Like but yeah, like I love juggling genres and sort of playing in spaces, and I love horror. Again, musicals were not my thing, like to begin with. Like I was saying to you guys earlier, like you would be trying to get me kicking and screaming, but like I really, well, after doing my research, I really started to sort of like fall in love with some musicals and sort of just understanding the sort of like the genre itself and how things work. But yeah, no, I love all types of genre.
Yeah, awesome.
We've actually also talked about this one. This is from Jay from the Horror Sanctum podcast. A character briefly mentions Ryan Gosling in the film. The film's co-writer Ryan McHenry also created the popular meme, Ryan Gosling won't eat his cereal. Was this always planned to be in the film, or was it dedicated to Henry later on in the movie?
No, it was obviously Ryan. It was a nod to Ryan because he was like when Ryan passed, they sent like flowers to his mother. Ryan Gosling sent back flowers to Ryan's mother and his girlfriend.
Okay. Wow.
As a sort of like a fat thank you.
Yeah.
So like you know, we do think Ryan Gosling's cool. It's
that's really nice. Yes. Yes. And that's I love that moment in the film. They're in the ball pit, right? And then I think they also talk about Taylor Swift, which is a good one. Good moment. Yes.
You have to get that in.
I had to mention it. Yes. This is the last one. This is Ricky from Hello Weird Wolf. do you have any plans to make a Halloween horror musical or any other holiday horror musical?
I mean, like I've got like ideas. And like we've talked about, you know, maybe doing another one of these, something in this sort of same sort of world, in this sort of same space. So yeah, so we'll see, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do like a Trick or Treat, like a horror Halloween anthology musical where all the characters come together.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. I just thought about that.
Cinnamon to write some songs.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I do want to ask you about Dear David, which is your new film. But before we do that, we thought it would be fun to pull out some taglines from Christmas movies. Most of these are horror, but we did throw in a couple that are not. I did send them to you, Ben.
I'm gonna be in the dark on these myself. Aren't I?
Okay, well then let's go. I only have 8, so there's not a ton. So the first one is when Christmas spirit is lost, he arrives.
Oh my God, is this like the coming of Christ?
Well, think about it.
What
So they're
was-
not into Christmas, so the Christmas spirit isn't there, and then this thing arrives.
Krampus?
Krampus, yes,
Got it.
yes, cool,
Yes!
cool. So this next one is short. He knows when you've been naughty. So naughty's the key word there.
Oh, it's not like, no, it's not Silent Night, Deadly Night, is it?
Yep, that's
Is
it. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Right.
Yep. He knows when you've been naughty. Did you find him, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do the
s-
next one? This is a trick
survive-
one.
Yeah. To survive, it takes a killer moves to killer tunes. Zombies are coming to town.
No, would say again, sorry?
To survive, it takes killer moves and killer tunes. Zombies are coming to town.
It's not, is that Anna the Apocalypse?
It is it.
It is, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We thought we'd throw that one in. Ben, do you want to do the next one since I did the first two?
Yep. Don't get him wet. Keep him out of bright light and never feed him after
Gremlins.
midnight.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, this one is
It's on Christmas either. It came out in July.
oh, Gremlins came out in July. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Still love
Terrible. Sorry.
it. Let's see. A tribute to the original, traditional, 100% red-blooded, two-fisted, all-American Christmas. This is non-horror.
Say it again.
A tribute to the original, traditional, 100% red-blooded, two-fisted, all-American Christmas. Maybe this is kind of a hard one. They play it
Is it
every
not
year all day long.
Christmas Chronicle, is it? With
Uh,
Kurt Russell.
Nope, Christmas Story. Bob
Christmas Story.
Clark's classics, yeah.
Okay.
That was kind of a stretch. Let me do the next one, and then Ben, you can do the last two. Let's see. A ghoulish tale with wicked humor and stunning animation. So this is an animated film.
Right.
Ghoulish tale, wicked humor.
This is Halloween. This
That one,
is
yeah, that's
Halloween.
it. Yeah, A Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
yeah, that's it.
Love it.
Two more.
Um,
Two more.
This is quite short. Oh, I probably wouldn't have even got this. You'll crack up.
But it's
Yule.
Yule, U-Y-L-E.
Yeah, you'll crack up.
It's also not horror.
Not
Classic.
Santa.
Classic.
Probably my
Margot and Todd live next door.
What was that?
Margot and Todd live next door.
Oh, no.
No, it's a Christmas Vacation with
Right.
Chevy
I was like, jingle all the way. If it's not, they just live next door.
One more. This one's kind of hard, I think, but it's a good one to
Yeah.
end with.
Oh, we had this the other day. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
70s Christmas horror. One of the directors that we already talked about directed a movie on the list.
Nah.
It's Black Christmas from 1974.
Oh, I was going to say Black
Bob
Christmas,
Clark.
but it was like,
Bob
oh,
Clark.
it's on the sky. Like,
It's
I was like,
funny because I mean I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, and that tagline doesn't really make any sense. I mean, it doesn't go with the movie at all.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it was like a monster, like like ghoulies or something like that.
That would go more.
That would go
yeah.
well with yeah, or like Hellraiser 2. Okay, let's see. Dear David is your newest project. I have not seen it yet, but I know it just came out a few weeks ago. What can you say about it? What can you tell us about your new film? I know Justin Long is in it.
Yeah, it's got a really good cast.
Augustus Prew is in it as the lead,
Yeah,
I think.
but it's a really lovely people, really lovely cast, really lovely crew. Yeah,
It's streaming now,
Awesome.
right? And what's it
I
about?
think it's on I think it's on what's it on? I think it's on Amazon Prime, Google, like what's the not the Google Play Store, sorry, Apple TV or like
Okay, cool.
sorry, or something like that. But yeah, it's a streaming in a few places.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to check it out. I did watch the trailer and it looks like a lot of fun. So, dear David, if you're watching, check out John's new movie.
Definitely.
Let's see. Are there any other new projects you can talk about, if you are allowed to?
No, like there's a whole bunch of stuff sort of like sitting there. It's just been because the actor strike and the writer strike. There's been a lot of projects that I love working with a writer. They are integral to it, and it's kind of like a spit in their faces if we go out with a film trying to get finance and cast while they're out sort of picking. So with everything sort of calming down now, things are getting a wee bit busier, which is going to be good. I've got a film over here, fingers crossed, starting prep in January. It's a family film for Sky, which will be class. Really excited about that. Cast has started to really start to come together for it. So yeah, prep in January, shooting March.
Awesome. Well, keep us updated. We'd love to have you on again for a future video to talk about your new movies that are coming out. Yeah, cool. Let's see, the last question I have, and then Ben, I guess you can do the closeout. How can folks watching find you on social media?
I am very quiet on social media. I do the Instagram. You can ask for a friend request. I usually do it, but I'm not on Twitter. Oh God, I had to go off that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I found you on Instagram, and that's how this all came about. So I guess lastly,
you just get pictures of my dog.
I think I've liked most of them. Lastly, I just want to say once again, I love the film. Congratulations. If you ever do a sequel, count me in.
Oh, 100%, man. I'll 100% let you know.
Very cool. Ben, do you want to do the closeout?
Yeah. Just a quick one, John. Thank you for coming on. Absolute pleasure. Converted me to musicals. I'd just like to say there is it says on the back of the box somewhere, it says something like Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land. Definitely, but I would also like to say this film is fantastic and definitely stands on its own. Super fun and definitely worth the watch. So good job with it.
Thanks, dude.
And go to Instagram, follow us at A&B Horror Movies. Same with YouTube, and hit the like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Again, thanks to John.
Yes, thank you, John. All right,
thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Bye, everyone.